All right. And through our course, we teach you only what is relevant. At least let's put it this way, what works for me. I'm sure there are many, many, many strategies out there that work. And if they work for other people, more power to them. But this is what works for me, and I do very, very well trading stock options on the S&P 500. All right, I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to show you a couple of very simple strategies that's going to earn you some pretty serious money if you just pay attention to this right now. Number one, this is this morning. Here it is. This happens every day. October 31st, right here at the top. This is from Thinkorswim SPY. If I look at the 15, I got the 50. Actually, this is the 5-minute chart here. Sorry, the 5-minute chart right here. If you look at the 5-minute chart, and it's trending down here in the last little while, just as it's opening up, it's trending down. It's breaking away. This is the MACD I'm looking at down here, the one in the little circle on the right. If it's breaking down, it's breaking away from its slow line, and then it's under the slow line. It's under the there you go. Sorry, I had to just dump that phone. The market's coming down here. All right, already it started in pre-market. This is a longer term trend. Actually, if you do it on a 15-minute chart, it's even a little bit better if you're going longer term. 50-minute chart. As long as it's going in this direction, go over to your 1-minute chart. As soon as the market opens and the market's going in your direction right here, which is what it was doing this morning, don't hesitate. Get in at the market open. I'll give you a tip. Do not use a market order at the market open, because you may have to wait a few seconds for the bid-ask spread to settle. By that I mean until they tighten up to within a couple cents of each other. That is if it's under $1. If it's over $1, no more than 5% apart. Okay, because the price needs to get its grip, right? And do not use a market order. If you use a market order, you could end up paying too much for it. Use a limit order. I know with Thinkorswim, it'll give you the limit order or market, which will be the better price for you. Okay, it'll give you the better price. So if you now you have a longer term trend, MACD breaking apart, that means the trend is coming to the downside. And on a short term 1-minute chart, it's coming to the downside right here. Even before 9:30, it was coming down. Just get in at the beginning. What would have happened here if you got in right here? Well, here's where the market went. This is actually very much on the short term, before even 10 o'clock. Here's what would have happened. This here is a chart of the option itself. This is the chart of the option itself, okay? And this morning already, if you got in near the beginning, let's say you didn't even get at the low. Let's say you got it somewhere in the middle. From 70 cents to at least 85 cents. And I believe it went even, the option went even higher. But right here, even before 10 o'clock, you could have picked up, well, let's put it this way. There was a potential 21% profit. Potential 21% profit before most people get their first coffee break. That's on the put side, okay? It's not that difficult making money on the stock market. I actually did place 2 trades this morning. All right, I just placed 2 trades this morning. The first trade was, well, here it is right here. The first trade was at 9:31, and I got in, I bought the puts, the 257 puts, and these were the ones that are going to expire a few days out, November the 10th. I think that gives me, what, about 8 days, 8 or 9 days or something. So I bought some safety. All right, I bought some safety in there. I got them for $1.17, and I sold them for $1.25, and that was in 23 minutes. 9:31 to 9:54. So I'm showing you right here a screenshot of my actual trade. This was actually while I was on live trading with the pros. This is actually one of our services that we do. We get together every Tuesday and Thursday morning. We have done 642 of these already now in our 8th year with Bird, Bob, and myself. Bird is actually on a cruise, so he was doing it from the cruise ship somewhere in the Bahamas. And this is what trading does to you, folks. It allows you freedom so you can come and go wherever you do whatever you want. And by the way, I can't think of a better business. I can trade whenever I want, wherever I want. I've traded in ski chalets. I've traded on the beach in Mexico. I've traded on cruise ships. Traded in airport lounges, hotels. They've even traded in coffee shops using my cell phone. I mean, you know what it's all about. With options, it's just absolutely incredible. So I got in here right at 9:30. right when the market was going down, that very strategy I was telling you right here about. And I bought it for $1.17. And I just put it up for sale for locked in 6%. And I picked up 6.8%. I couldn't change my order fast enough. It's funny because while we were doing these sessions here, I was just chatting it up with everybody, right? And then when I saw the market going down, 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 I went in to try to change my my put order, my sell order to a little bit higher. But before I knew it, it took me out for $1.25. I'll tell you something. If I'm not happy with picking up 6.8% in 23 minutes, I should probably go see a shrink, right? Just give this some thought for a second. If you only make 5% net every day trading once, over the course of 1 month, you say, what do you do, 20 trades? 20 trades? You just doubled your money in a month. Believe me, it's not that difficult making 5% a trade. It's really not that difficult at all. So I picked up the 6.8%. Then using the indicators I used, the market reversed. I talked to the people in the live trading with the pro session. I said, okay, I think it's reversing. It's going to go back up, and I think we've seen the worst of it. So we were in that session till about 10:30, and then we wrapped it up. I went to go warm up my coffee. By that time, I was on my third cup. I'll tell you, yeah, I got to pull back on that, that's for sure. And then we got into another session with my trading room. I've got another bunch of people. This is more of a trading session, Hughes Trading Room. And this is where we actually get right into, it's just myself teaching people exactly what's going on. I look at the news. I look at how people interpret the news, the pundits. I look and see how people are interpreting the pundits. I look at the various technical indicators. I look at everything that I need to assess, all right, which way the market is going. See, that's what I look at. I look at, even though the market at that time this morning was going down and things looked pretty dim, pretty dismal. As a matter of fact, on the inner circle, I have this thing called the inner circle, which is where I post every morning what I'm looking to trade. Here it is right here. I talked about, that's not it. Is that it? No, that's not it. Hang on a second. Let me just pull it up here. Okay. All right. You know what? I'll just pull this up here for a second. I talked this morning here about where I thought the market was going to go at, and I explained this just after 9 o'clock. So it's a flash assessment as to where I believe the market's going to go in the morning. And I looked at this. All is just a very brief synopsis here, just a couple sentences here. There's another pre-market spike, but my technicals were in conflict heading into the opening bell. I talked about high impact news item at 10 o'clock. That was actually, I think, a PMI report or something, sorry, consumer confidence report. But based on the balance of probabilities, I can see perhaps a push up to 257.30, then a downward draft to the mid to upper 256s before long. Definitely a spooky feeling when you consider the futures were all up. I also give some support and resistance numbers, and I tell you what I'm looking to do. I'm looking for the put side this morning for modest 6% profit. So when I say that, that's kind of where I'm looking at going first thing in the morning as the market opens. I was looking at the puts, and that is exactly where I had gone with the puts right there. Okay. So I got into the puts, and I picked up 6.8%. And then when the market reversed, so I got back into the trading room. That was at 11 o'clock. And again, it took me a few minutes. We're just chatting it up and, discussing the events of the day. And, I think we were talking a little bit about Halloween or something. I'm not sure. But, looking at all the market scenarios, where's the market going? It's interesting to know where the market is or where it has been. But what's really important is where it's going. They once asked that hockey great, the great one to call him, Wayne Gretzky. And for those who don't know and don't follow hockey, and I'm not a big hockey fan, but I happen to know that Wayne Gretzky is by far the best hockey player like ever. Okay, and nobody comes close. And they interviewed him once, and he was so gracious to give his secret. He said, "Well, I skate to where the puck is going." Oh, okay, not to where it is, to where it's going, and that's the way we look at the market. We want to see, well, where is it going? And given all of the various inputs that we use to determine that, we had determined that, the market's going up. It's going to go up. Now, I don't have it on the charts here, what I call the yellow brick road. but this is a prediction as to where the market is going. And we had it going up to that point where I got in, and I made some money on that. So got in at 11:13, and I was out 4 minutes later. Got into the calls, 257.50 calls for 60 cents. In 4 minutes, picked up 6.7%. That was in the trading room. I will say this: those were the November 3rd expiration options. Okay. Now the reason I did not buy time there, and somebody asked me this morning on that session, why didn't you buy time? Why would you buy something that's going to expire right away? I said the answer is because where I had placed my indicators as to where SPY is likely going to go, I felt very, very, very confident. Not exactly sure I would stake my life on it, but I was very confident, 98, 99% sure it was going to go up to that point. And there was ample room in that trade for me to get my 6% profit again. That's my goal. So for that reason, I felt confident enough that I'm going to buy something with a shorter expiration. You see, in this business, time is insurance. Time is insurance. If you want to buy safety, you buy time. But I did not feel the need to do that in this particular case because I was so confident in the trade. And in fact, I said it so fast to these people that I had to go back after I placed the trade. I had to review the trade to explain exactly what I'd done because there wasn't much time in which to just explain it all away and then actually miss the trade perhaps. It was moving just that fast. So I got in at 11:13, about the 257.50 calls for 60 cents. Immediately put it up for sale for 64 cents. Grabbed that 6% profit in there at least. And before I had a chance, once again, to change my sell order because I wanted to inch it up to a higher number, it took me out, and that was in 4 minutes, actually about 3.5 minutes, for another 6.7% profit. And I was in the trading room. Total for the day, folks, do the math, 13.5%. We were done by 10:45. Sorry, I'm lying to you, 11:17. We were done by 11:17. All right, and that's just the way it works. And that's the way it works kind of like every day. All right, I'm going to show you another really cool, this is another really cool kind of a trick I like to use. Once again, I have the 5-minute chart on the right and the 1-minute chart on the left. Again, just keeping it very, very simple. We don't need all those indicators. And it's not to discredit anybody else who may use those indicators, but I know for me, this is the way it works the best. For my temperament, my personality, my goals, my aspirations, my style. Everybody's going to have their own style of trading. You might be more inclined to go with longer term swing trades, and that's fine. You might want to trade stocks, and that's fine. But with the leverage and moves of SPY, if you can just get that direction and momentum, a little bit of strength in there, which is all that stuff that we teach, believe me, you're going to do way, way, way more than you'll ever probably do on your own. At least cut the learning curve by going through some of the stuff that we learned, and I'll show you what happens here. On the 5-minute chart, and then, by the way, this was yesterday's. Even though showing here October the 31st, this was actually yesterday's. I think depending on where my cursor is, that's where the date is going to show up on this thing. So this is actually showing today's date, but this was actually, if you go back, you can see that this is actually yesterday's chart. Getting into the opening bell, we were sitting in this narrow range in here, somewhere between, oh my goodness, I don't have the numbers here handy, but obviously somewhere around 257.5, 5 cents up to about 257.21 or something. So I draw in these support and resistance lines in the pre-market going back to roughly 8 o'clock, going back about an hour, hour and a half, right? And obviously the more, the closer we are to the opening bell, right here at 9:30, the dark gray is into live trading hours, and the lighter gray is pre-market. I know some people don't like to have the pre-market on there, but I think that'd be kind of like putting your head in the sand. I like the pre-market. So I draw in my support and resistance lines on the 5-minute chart. Then at the first sign that we are breaking up through either a support or resistance line where the candle actually looks like it's going to close, that's the direction I'm going to go. So there's the decision. Now right here at 9:35, don't forget each of these candles on the chart on the right represents 5 minutes of time. This chart here, the chart on the right, the 5 minute did poke down under support, but it did not close. I'm only looking at the bodies. Did not close. I mean, if there's one share that traded for down there, you're going to get this tail, right? But when this candle closed, it closed over that support, so we don't count that candle. It's just not going to be there. And as it turned out, on the 1 minute chart, right at the beginning, it did go down to whatever that is, around 257, slightly under 257. And then it reversed quickly and ran back up. By the way, there's another little tip here for you. On a 5 minute chart, when you see a tall tail like that, it's going up. Okay, it's going up. That means the bulls are very strong. They want to keep this afloat, and they want to raise this price. So then what happens is this. I'm looking for the first break out of support or resistance. Turns out in this case it was through resistance, right up here through resistance, and I got into this thing here, right around here, around 9:35 or so. Picked it up, ran it up right in this brief period here. Never mind the rest of the day. The rest of the day you would have made a fortune. But even in this very brief period here, you could have made some pretty serious money. Enter on the breakout. Where is it? Enter on the breakout of support or resistance. That's where you're going to enter. When the 1 minute chart is going up like this, actually I should say after the breakout of on the 5 minute chart, you really need to sort of look at that. But when you see the stock moving up with such force, all right, even when there is going to be a pullback, and you know there is going to be one, it's not a matter of if, it's when, because markets do not go in a straight line forever. They're going to go up, they're going to pull back, they're going to retract a little bit and bounce around. But when you see something like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I mean, these are strong candles on the 1 minute chart. They're going up. Just get in. You've already gone through resistance. If you're very fortunate, you're going to make your profit within a couple minutes of the trade, and then you're going to be done for the day. Right? What I do is I have a goal in mind, and when I'm done, I'm done, and then I make the market my slave, not me the slave to it. That means I'm able to go and do whatever I want to do the rest of the day. That's how I make money. See, I think there's two components to success on the stock market. One is making money, which a lot of people can do. The other one is keeping it. And I find that in talking to people, that's the hard part, trying to keep their money. I can tell you stories about that. Okay. Anyway, so you want to get in. That's what we got. Break out of support. These are very simple concepts. There's no rocket science here. So here's the chart of the option, the 257.50 calls right at the breakout. Would have got in here right at the beginning, and this baby ran up from 69 to 79, even cheaper. Could have got it cheaper. There's another potential 14% profit. This is by 940. All right. I'm sure if you have the charts up here for yesterday, it went a lot higher than this. You could have made a fortune. This is on the 257.50 calls. Yesterday, just curious, 257.50 calls. Let me just see if I can find this up here. Hang on a second. Just where did I have it? 257 calls. Where was it here? Okay. Unfortunately, I don't have the actual strike price here, so I can't tell you where they went. But it wouldn't surprise you if it was, if there was a fortune to have been made on those. In fact, I'm sure of it. So that's one strategy right there that is absolutely amazing. I love this one. You could have had, and if you're going for only a 6% profit, well, there's your second trade of the day type of thing there, right? Actually, the first trade, and then the one that I showed you earlier. So here you have two great golden opportunities to make some serious money. Again, look at the 5 minute MACD, MACD, moving average convergence divergence. Match it up with your 1 minute, get in on the open, and then put it up for sale for a 6% good to cancel order. Sit back, let the market work its magic. Second trade is just wait for these breakouts, and then trade that as soon as it breaks out. Get in, don't hesitate, and go make your money. Both of those trades, folks, double-digit daily returns before your morning coffee break. You want to do that all day? If you aim for 6 to 8%, give the broker a few points for his troubles, you're still going to double your money in less than 30 days. How cool is that? This is what we do. Okay. All right. And the question, of course, I get all the time is, seriously, can this be done? I didn't know you can day trade SPY options. I get this all the time. The answer is a resounding yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Folks, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we do. And then if you want, we can take some questions from the